Hey, what's up everybody? Prospector here with Watcher Realms. Welcome to the channel. Today I am joined by DrDeez and we are going to be pumping out a top 10 epics here on the channel. How you doing, Deez?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the channel. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Appreciate you having me, bro.
I'm happy to have you, man. But anyways, guys, without further ado, let's dig in. Alright guys, so a special little treat today. We're going to be doing a top 10 epics list, and we're going to have a list of mine and a list of these top 10 heroes, and we're going to go from number 10 down to number 1, one at a time, and see how well we line up. How you feeling about this, Deez? You think this is going to go pretty even, or you think we'll be pretty different?
I think we're going to be different. I mean, dude, there's so many different epics in this game that you could put on this list. This list is like, it was a hard list, man. There's a lot of really good epics in this game, but, you know, I'd be surprised if we had exactly the same. I'll tell you that much.
Before we get any further, I want to just give a shout out to Deez. Make sure you go and check out his channel. Leave a like and subscribe on one of his videos. Grab the latest one and leave some comments on there for him, because, you know, that helps the algorithm and that's what everybody needs. But anyways, we're gonna go, like I said, top 10 to number 1. And I had to be honest, I have about 15 honorable mentions. I don't know about you. I had to wrote them all down.
Only 15.
Only 15, right? All right, so we're gonna start. What do you think? We start with you, start with me. What do you think?
We can start with you. It's your channel. You're the, I'm just in for the ride, all right?
All right. So the first one that I'm going to go over to is Alicia. My first hero at number 10 is Alicia. I could find her here. I think it's Supreme Arbiters. There she be. Now, she's relatively new to the game. And I just had to make sure that I got her on the list because this epic is overpowered. I really think she's overpowered. She might be up there with Damos. She's coming in there as an Arbiter Lord. She's kind of mimicking a little bit of what Kratos is doing. She's got the continuous damage. She's got the lightning where she has the Verdict of Truth and the Final Verdicts. Radiant Erosion, all built into her kit. What do you think about Alicia?
Let's just say we'll see as the video goes on, because I have her a lot higher than you have her. Okay. Our lists are definitely going to look different.
That's cool. So now I'm just going to go ahead and mark this down as my number 10. That's what I liked. I'd like to see different opinions here. Okay, what's your number 10?
All right, at number 10, I have a guy that is the man, the myth, the legend. This guy is the ultimate, well, I would say clapper of cheeks, but he doesn't actually do the booty clapping. He takes the booty clapping. So we got my main man, Baron. Baron at number 10. I mean, you could do a lot of amazing things with him, and he comes with unyielding. Again, this list was very hard, but me personally, I like the guys I had above him. I don't even know if you have him on your list, but me personally, I had to throw Baron in here just because of what he can do for your team. I mean, I could still use him in almost every single strategy that I need a defender, because that's just how good he is.
Yeah, Baron is definitely a true hero. I would say that for me, Baron is kind of falling short, and I think the reasoning for that is only because the dude took 8 months to drop on my account, on my main account. I think it was like 4,000 summons before this guy dropped. I'm like, what the heck? Like all these team comps out there, and I don't have a Baron. I can't use them as an example, you know? Like, yeah, it really sucks. So I guess I never really built up that early game love for the hero, you know what I mean?
Gotcha. All right, that's understandable. You know, maybe if I took 4,000 summons to get him, I might feel the same way.
Maybe I'm just a little annoyed by him. That's all it is. But he is an amazing hero. That unyielding, that huge shield that he does. I would say that sometimes it feels a little underwhelming how well he does survive, because I'm used to Oleg and Brokir and all these other heroes.
That is true.
But he does still do an amazing job at it. And there's a lot of situations where only he kind of fits that position and that kind of strategy that you're trying to use. So yes, he's definitely a good one. All right, so let's move on to number 9. My number 9 is going to be Eliza. Now Eliza, I really love Eliza. She's an amazing unit for gear raid 319. I think early to mid game, if you're struggling with gear raid 3, this hero is top tier. She's doing the job of Laura initially, and she's doing it better. And she's also bringing you that lowered bonus to give you the increased range for all of your heroes. I don't think there's really much else to say about her. She doesn't really stick in a lot of other places, but she does decent in other areas of the game. But that importance of gear raid 319 is why I gave her number 9.
Okay, our list are definitely gonna look different. I mean, she definitely had a spot in the honorable mentions for me though. But me personally, I just feel that the only you're going to use her for the Lord skill. She comes with the awesome Lord skill for the Piercer faction, but also the fact that the only place that I would really use her in is Gear Raid 3, just for that right side, right? But that's just me personally. I actually don't have her on my list, but she definitely would get an honorable mention. For my number 9, I have none other than the booty clapper man himself. We talking about my boy, Maul. I'm telling you right now, anytime you're in a sticky situation, not only does Maul have one of the best AoEs when it comes to any hero in the whole entire game, he also comes with really good crowd controls. He has the freeze. I think you have to get him to what, A3 to get the freeze? Yes, is that correct? I believe so. But he also has the slow as well. So, you know,
A3 for the slow.
Oh, A3 for the slow.
A1 for the freeze.
A1. Gotcha. Well, you have to get him awakened for both of those. But once you do get him awakened, don't get it twisted. This guy is an absolute beast. And also A5, as you can see, that prospector pulled up, his cost is -5, which is absolutely amazing because he costs a lot if you don't have that -5.
He does. Yeah. And once you get him, he's another one that opens up a gear raid for you. He's like one of the best. Well, he does help with gear raid 3 as well, right? And you put him on gear raid 2, trying to cross into that 19 threshold. And he just does just enough damage to take out all those guys coming out to get you past it. It gets a little tougher at that stage in your game, typically, to push to 20 and 21. But he does cross you into that threshold for endgame gear for sure. And there's plenty of areas to use that guy. Very good.
Let me ask you one question, Prospector. Let me ask you one question. Do you have Maul in your top 10? I just need to know. You don't have to tell me where you have him, but I'm just curious.
I will tell you that Maul is my number 1 honorable mention. So we're relatively close. We're only 2 away, really. We're only 2 away, right?
Okay.
There he is. We got Maul. Now my number 8. These heroes are so hard to place because they're all so relatively important to each other. My number 8 is going to be none other than Wrath. Epic Lord, you get him for free. The boy is a beast. I mean, what does he put out? Like 60 to 80 million, something like that in Guild Boss 1. He's going to be keeping himself alive in Arena, especially in the early game. I still use him in Void Rift from time to time, just for him to keep himself alive. I still use him in AMR in the later stages because he's just got that self-heal going along. He's still used in faction trials every single time it comes up. Not the main one, but, you know, Nightmare faction trials. And his Lord Belt bonuses typically are pretty well here. So he does offer that 35% increase for the faction. And then the healing receipt is reduced. But, I mean, that attack speed and those stats that he's bringing in there, he's just super useful at his stage in the game, especially when you get him. And you'll use them for a long time. These stats are actually really good for an epic fighter that you get for free. Typically, he's one of my first to A5.
Yep. I mean, they do give you the soul stones for him as well, which is nice.
Yep. I think it's 2, right?
So, yeah, 2.
2. Yep.
Or maybe.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's 2.
Yeah, 2. Okay. Well, actually, you're right. I was just agreeing.
Yeah.
So I will say this. This is the first one that me and the Prospector agree on. We got we got Wrath at number 8 on my list as well.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think one of these was going to be right. That's crazy.
I actually, so once upon a time, I don't know, when did you first start playing this game?
I think I played 3 months after start, so I think I just crossed, a year and a month or something right now?
Okay, I think we started around the same time. So you would probably agree with me on this. Once upon a time, you could have made an argument for Maul at number 1. Like when we first started playing this game, that's how good he was. He was just the top dog. He could do amazing things, but he's just gotten power crept over the months, right? So, I mean, he still pushes out a good amount of damage. Comes with a really good Lord skill, but I think 8 is a very, very good spot for my guy.
Yeah, there's been a lot of epics introduced that have become, they're just more essential and they get used for a longer time. Wrath's usage kind of goes down and down and down as you pick up more and more legendaries, so definitely agree on that. I guess with that, we can just move on to my number 7, huh?
Let's go. Let's do it.
Number 7 for me. Now, trigger warning, because these are going to be the ones that everybody's going to start not agreeing so much, like really far off. I'm putting Estra at number 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm putting Estra at number 7. Like I said, a little bit of a trigger warning. No, she's a great hero. I don't find myself personally using her very often. I didn't use her very often in the early game. It took me a long time to pull her. She's really rare, actually. Not as long as Baron, but by the time I did get her, because of her rarity, I just had everything pretty much taken care of for the fighter area. She's great. I think I remember sticking her in for Guild Boss for maybe a month or two for that like decreased defense that she has going on. She has a really nice decreased defense, and it's all AoE when her ult is going as well, I think, right? Yes. And she's putting out those decreased defenses, which could be extremely useful, and her damage is through the roof. Typically on AoE content, I think that she's not too wild on boss content, but it's good still. How do you feel about Estra being at number 7?
Hey, bro, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about. You know, everybody has their own opinions. There's going to be people not agreeing with both our list as a whole, and then there's going to be people agreeing. You know, this is just our opinions and what we have experienced. I have her a lot higher than you do on my list, but at the same time, it's understandable. You know, hey, there's honestly no wrong answers here. It's just our opinions on what we think, and you know, I disagree with your thoughts, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes. So you know, but again, you know, different strokes for different folks, right? So for my number 7, I have a guy that is honestly one of the best defenders in the whole entire game. You can't do a top 10 list and not have Olog. Well, maybe we can. Is Olog in yours?
Yes, Olog is in mine. Okay. Absolutely.
So what I was going to say was, you can't do a top 10 list and not have Olog in it. It would just make that list invalid just because of what he brings to the table. It's not his ultimate. Okay, I would rather have him without his ultimate. I just let him run and keep putting the shield. He has this passive. He throws the shield on. It basically makes him so like hard to kill. And honestly, if you could control in Guild Wars his ultimate, where he would never ever proc it, he would be the ultimate tool for Guild Wars, in my opinion, just because of this. I mean, every 12 seconds he pops the shield, and if you build him in a good amount of HP, we're talking the most unkillable defender in the whole entire game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, as far as not actually having unyielding built into his kit, I don't think there's pretty much anybody that keeps up with him. And this is the one for me that makes Baron look bad. I think, you know, because he has a login, right? And he's just a login hero. You pick him up from, or no, it's not a login, it's a Void Rift free hero you get. But that shield is absolutely bananas. I've seen it where it's only like 20% of his normal health and 80% of his shield. You know, it just comes back pretty quickly. The ult can be used strategically. Specifically, I would think of something like Gear Raid 2. You wanted to trigger it, and you have his Higher Awakenings here. I believe there's a point here where he starts granting it to his allies at Awaken level 5, so the heroes around him. I've even used this in free-to-play strategies for Guild Boss 2 to try to protect some of the weaker heroes that were built up around him. Just kind of like a Soul Day as well. I'd have a Soul Day there, and I'd have Oleg down below her, and I'd trigger them off and on with each other, so that makes sure that the heroes around them have that damage reduction, because you couldn't really put Percy in there. You know, your options are kind of limited. So yeah, I mean, Oleg is the GOAT. At one point in time, I will tell you that I had a strong claim, in my opinion, that Oleg was the best tank in the game. Because early on, you know, back then when we were playing, we didn't really have stages where they were taking out tanks with so much damage. You didn't really need too much unyielding unless you were really early game and you were lacking on gear. Oleg just took the cake for me all the time. I even had Brokir, and I'd rather put an Oleg on the field. You know, he sits over there without a healer. Brokir needs a healer, you know. But long sustainable defense, Oleg's your guy, so it's a good place for him where you got him.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. I've never tried it for Guild Boss 2, but that would make sense, right? Popping the ultimate, so he goes ahead and spreads that to the team, gives them survivability. I've only used that for Isolde. The only time I use Olog is when I need a tank to stay alive, and he just does an amazing job. He just does an amazing job. But
yes,
if I ever try a Guild Boss 2 team, and I try to do it free to play way, thank you for giving me that tip. I'll try that out.
Yep, he's goated for that. He's actually really good. That's extremely helpful. Or if you just have any heroes that are struggling with AoE damage around, you know, if you look at your dungeon too as well, you put your Oleg down there as one of your tanks. If your Comet's up there, maybe a little low on health for the AoE damage that comes in, pop his ult. He keeps him alive. Good to go. I mean, everything's fine. All right, so we have Oleg at number 7 for you. So my number 6 is probably going to be another controversial one. A little early to be placing him on here, but we are going to be looking at one of the, I want to say, highest DPS epics in the game. And that is going to be Sir Damos. And this guy, he's when people think of Damos, they think of Salazar. I think of Damos, I think of how much he can actually beat Salazar's score by. Because he's just that strong. This guy, he puts out so much damage. On his ult, he increases max HP by 100%. So you go into Guild Boss 2, if you're in, like, again, free to play kind of style team, you can pop his ult, he's going to get that max HP increase. He could kind of tank it for a certain amount of time, probably up past 30k, I'd assume. But he also is hitting many times during his ult with each consecutive strike against the same target, increases damage, stacks up 6 times, and he comes over here, he's hitting each enemy 2 times. Then his ult, I think that each basic attack, yes, lands 4 consecutive strikes, and it lasts for 20 seconds. So something like the Styx boss, early to mid, he's going to do a really good job at that. Pair him with another hero that does bleed, and you're cooking. I'm assuming that you have Damos much higher on your list.
He was my number 11. So I actually do not have him on my list. I have him off the list.
I'm hurting right now. I'm hurting right now.
So it's funny. Who was you talking about? You was talking about who was the person? Baron. So you was talking about Baron. You took forever to pull him, right? Damos was the guy that I took forever to pull. And by the time I got him, I tried him, like, I don't know, like, because someone was like, Deez, you got to do a bleed team, bro. Like, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, let's try bleed team out. So I put the bleed team out there, and I was like, this guy's all right. Like, he's not that great. And then I was like, so I ended up just never using him again. He just went in the back burner, and then I just went ahead and went about my business, you know? So he would definitely be my Baron. I use Baron a lot more than I use Damos. I barely use Damos, and he was. I thought about Damos though. Don't think I intentionally left him off my list. I thought about Damos, but for the fact that I couldn't really push out the damage I was expecting to push out, I kind of gave up on him a little fast. So he would make number 11 on my list if we had a number 11.
Yeah, he's a little hard to get going with the damage. I could admit that. Nice Infernal Roar set. Building him relatively pretty quick, you know, having the, optimal Warlord set on the left side. And yeah, he's gonna be a little difficult to really crank out the damage. But once you get him going, he's like 100 mil kind of Guild Boss 1 hero. And back when I got him, my Salazar couldn't even match him. So, but really? Yeah, I could see now there's so many Nightmare Fighters out there that he's kind of falling off of importance. And I would say that could somewhat agree with you that the difficulty of pulling this guy is somewhat annoying, because you're probably going to pull more legendary nightmare fighters by the time you pull Damos. I can agree with that. I could definitely feel you on that one. No arguments there. So let's stick Damos on here, and then we will hear your number 6.
So at number 6, I have a hero that we all get for free. She does a lot for the team. Honestly, you can make an argument for her being, I don't know, number 2, number 3 on the list. I mean, she's just that good. And what she brings to the table, we're talking one of the best crowd controls in the whole entire game. We're talking vulnerability on the target. I mean, this chick can do it all. You already know who I'm about to say. I'm about to say my girl, Mari. Mari is about that life. Mari is legit. She's awesome. I love me some Mari. You could put her in almost every single strategy. She's just... It's even if you don't need the crowd controls, you could use the vulnerability, and as long as you build her right, she will do amazing things for your account, whether you're free to play or pay to win. What do you think?
Totally agree. But it's one of those that didn't make my top 10. It's an honorable mention.
Okay, so I use Mari in a lot of strategies, bro. I had to throw her in here. I mean, she does amazing things for me. But okay, where would she make on your list if you had to, like, number 12?
Yeah, right around there. I'd say 12, somewhere between 11 and 13. So 12, 13 would be good. I think that she's very useful. I think she does fall off at a certain point, but she still remains viable for a lot of things if you want to use her for it. The ability to use her in Gear Raid 1 is like my most notable use case, I think, for my experiences anyways. Just constant freezes, just building her super fast, putting the slows out there, freezing those enemies so they stop beating down the wall, Go ahead.
So okay. I see what you're saying. But we're talking. Okay, let me just lay this out for you. We're talking Gear Raid 1. We're talking Gear Dungeon 1. We're talking Guild Wars. I mean, bro, you can this chick. I think that she deserves at least a number 10 on your list, but that's just my opinion. Like I said, this is a beautiful thing about it, You got your opinions, I got mine, and we're mixing them together, and there were going to be people that disagree with us, you know what I'm saying?
That's right. Somebody's going to come back and be like, you guys, I don't got any of my top 10 heroes on your list. What's going on here? The big one, though, I think, is these magic and physical... magic and physical damage vulnerabilities.
That's beautiful.
This adds up to much more than I think a lot of people realize. Even bringing all the way from the early game to late game or so into the guild boss. If you don't have your Vulcan, the kind of style build you want to throw her out there, just throw your Mari on the field. She's gonna make a huge difference for you. Definitely, I don't think that she needs crazy awakenings either, if I remember correctly. Blizzard duration +1. Redeployment time, that doesn't, who cares? Duration of slow and freeze inflicted by Mari is +1 second, so she just gets a little extra time in her crowd control for the most part. So yeah, she's definitely a goated kind of free login hero. I definitely love myself a Mari. I agree.
Thank you.
But she can't be on my top 10.
You changed the list right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's change it up. All right, number 5 is where I have Oleg. So I don't think there's much more that we need to talk about that one. I think we've already pretty much discussed that. I did put him a little higher. Like I said, I definitely had a personal attachment to the guy. I kind of explained that when we were talking about Oleg earlier. And yeah, this guy, I'm just loyal to him, I can put Oleg on the field. I need a defender. He's going down. He's the one going down. All right.
I love it. So my number 5, okay, hang on, let me, okay, so my number 5, I really had trouble making the top 5, I'm not gonna lie. It could have went in any single order, honestly, but I just, so this chick does amazing things for any single strategy, and I know you have to have her in your top 5. You probably have her higher than I have her, honestly, but I got none other than my girl Hollow. You could make a case for her higher on the list because she's one of the best when it comes to rage regen. But again, I was just thinking about these top 5, and I think the other 4 are a little bit better. Honestly, maybe I should put her a little higher, actually, coming to think of it, because I use her, and out of all the heroes that I use, I probably use Hollow the most out of everybody on this list. So you could definitely make a case for her higher than this.
Yeah.
I'm kind of regretting my decision on this, but I'm going to keep her at 5 nonetheless. Let's do Hollow at 5.
As he's talking about it, he's like, I don't know, maybe she's much better than I was originally thinking. Which is okay, you know, that's just the top 4 or top 5. It is really difficult because they are all so good. And it really depends. There's, like you said, a lot of personal opinion in there, personal experiences with the heroes. Maybe some of these heroes, some other people didn't even ever level up. So Hollow's not one of them. Hollow's leveled up. You got it on your account. If you didn't level her up, you should level her up right now. As we're talking, just stop watching and go get her leveled up. Yeah, this hero, as far as healing goes, she is just amazing. She's going to be healing your heroes really well. Her range extends out to the side, so it's just like Vortex. And then as she's healing heroes, she's giving them rage regen on her ultimate, which is absolutely crazy. It's not quite Eloin rage regen, but this is an epic. And if you got her, I'm telling you, just like you said, you're gonna be putting her down on the field as much as you can. She's the one for me that started convincing. I started to stop using Vortex so much once I pulled a Hollow. You know, there's a lot of times where, even though I have like an Elo and like A4 on my main account, there's a lot of times where like, man, I want to pull that Hollow and put her on the field. I'm not lazy to put a gear on her and everything, but you know, I want to. Like, she's just much more convenient sometimes. She's got the nice broad range heals, and if you don't have a nice round unit where you can put a wood elf down or something, she kind of fits the queue for it. So yeah, I definitely agree. She belongs in the top 5, maybe a little higher, maybe not. You know, we'll see when we get done with our list where we're all at and who is actually in the top 5. You know, so we're gonna put down a Hollow for you. I definitely agree. This girl is goated. Once you get Hollow, you must level her up. 100%.
Absolutely.
All right, so number 4 for me, speaking of the devil, she's right here. Bam.
Understandable.
Very close. You can see, if you kind of look at the list here, you can see how a lot of these guys, you know, that line up. We got Old Egg right here, we got Hollow. They're really close. I don't have my Mari on there, but I'm sure that your Damos is probably up in these areas, and it's not too far off. So I guess we could just move right on to your number 4.
At number 4, I have someone that you had way lower on this list. And, you know, I feel like this chick is a legendary in disguise. You could even make a case for her at number 1. I know you said you didn't really use her for a lot of strategies, but I used her for my Gear Dungeon 2. I used her for the Stage 10. She did an amazing job. I also used her for Artifact Material Raid. Anything where you need AoE outside of Gear Raid 1, she's really, really good for. And she's just the ultimate booty clapper. I could not do a top 5 without having my girl Estrid. Estrid is just about that life. And you know, like I said, you know, we're thinking differently, but at the same time, we both had her in the top 10.
Yeah, she's in the top 10. Absolutely. She belongs there, you know. I think it's like a more personal experience kind of thing. Again, you know, it's did you end up getting her a little earlier? Did you end up using her for a lot of things?
No, so she was one that it took me a while to get her, right? But they came out with the Artifact Material Raid. She's goated for that. An absolute beast, right? She is absolutely goated for that. So I actually used her for Artifact Material Raid when they came out with that. Then also, I came out with a Gear Dungeon 2 Stage 10 strategy. It revolves around Carnelian, but as long as you have Carnelian, Estrid does amazing work. She should be a 5.0 for that, but she's unfortunately a 4.8. I mean, that's still high. That's still for an epic. That's high, right? But just for that Gear Dungeon 2 strategy, I'm not gonna lie, I really thought about putting her higher on this list. I was like, I could make a case for maybe a 2, maybe even if I wanted to be live life on the edge, maybe even put her there at 1. But I wasn't going to go that far, so I was like, you know what, 4 is a good spot. I have her up 4.
Okay. Yeah, I think she'd be a little more useful in Void Rift than they kind of let on here too as well. And she's almost, if you want to go like a full Epics free-to-play team again for Titanic Ruins, she's a 5. She's got to be on the team, man.
Yeah.
The decreased defense, the amount of damage that she kicks out is just wild. But yeah, she's good. I would say for me, I just didn't end up using her too much for anything. By the time I actually thought about using her, it was more like, I should probably put her on the field at some point. I get, maybe you're comparable to you with Damos, I would think, right? I do recognize her abilities for sure, though. I'll give you that. So we have our girl Estra here. North Throne faction too, so she's also very tanky as far as fighters go. You pair her with what? Elder would be a good one. That increase her damage a little bit more. No, not already. She's OP.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that she's in the Northerner faction though.
Yeah, it kind of is. The only one that can really boost her damage is going to be Elder, and he's kind of just nobody really likes bringing him too much. Sorry if I snubbed your lord, because I know there's going to be some triggered people in the comments for that one.
I'll snub him too.
Yeah. Oh, I know people love their elders. There's a group. They got a fan base.
I don't have them.
I guess if you're gonna use these guys for a lot of damage, I just don't use the faction for that much damage. I'm gonna use Ardia. I'm gonna use a Chaotic Lord, even if it's a flat off. I'm not gonna pull, one of these guys, Hars or Elder, into the mix, or any of the epics for that matter. I just don't use them for a lot of damage. North Throne, I guess I go with Valkyra, maybe.
Valkyra, maybe Guild Wars, Northerner. There's a good Northerner.
Yeah, there's some good teams there, but it's odd, It's a weird one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. My number 3. I think we're gonna get a little less controversial here. I think I predict we're gonna get a little less controversial. I'm gonna go with Miss Laurel, and maybe this is gonna be a surprise. I don't know, but let's go check out Laurel here. Where is she at? Esoteric, right? Yes, she is. This hero is just so important all the way to the end game. And honestly, once you get her in the early game, she's gonna start unlocking a lot of things for you. Obviously the gear raids, the gear dungeons, she's gonna be making your guild boss team score just skyrocket. You pair her with Hollow on your team, your heroes are gonna just be in consistent ultimate form, and your Dolores is gonna be consistently doing inspiration with her being at her side. So how she works is you put her down on the field, and in her talent she increases the rage regen by 1, but additionally upon death provides surrounding allies with a restoration of 50% of the rage cap upon death. Now that counts when you pick her up off of the field as well. This makes her goated. So how do you feel about this, Mr. Deez?
Oh, I feel and it's DrDeez, sir.
I know. I was trying to trigger that. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I gotta call him Mr. Deez some point in the video. Be like, oh, sorry. Proper respect. He's got an education going.
Okay, so I really like that. I really like that right there, because we agree on another one. I have her at number 3 as well.
Wow, look at this.
You can do amazing things with her. Oh, yeah.
I thought that might happen. She definitely is going to open up a lot of things for you. Anybody in the game is going to start being really happy once they figure out how to use Laurel properly.
Especially if you have... one thing that I do want to point out. So I actually helped my boy... he was like, hey, I couldn't... This is a while ago, but he's like, hey, I can't defeat this stage. And I became good friends with him inside of the game. And I was like, don't worry, bro. DrDeez has got you. Let me just hop on the account. I'll see if I could do some. I'm not going to spend hours on your account. I'm literally just going to see if I could do some within like 20 minutes. I actually defeated the stage for him. But one thing that went wrong if you have Laurel, you have to promote her. He didn't have her promoted. So since she was not promoted, when you withdraw her, she doesn't give the rage. So he always wondered why his Laurel wasn't giving the 50% rage like everyone else's, and that's because you have to get her promoted. That's the whole thing. You got to get her promoted, or else she won't be able to do that. Are you trying to pull it up?
I guess I would have to go to like the actual hero pool here.
Oh yeah.
Show the degen account here. Overwhelmed. That's what this is. Overwhelmed. Where is she? She's a mage, right?
Yeah, she's a mage.
Am I just not seeing her?
Right there. You got her in a different skin. You're looking for the green girl. She's not green anymore.
I'm always looking for green. Here, she's all pretty in this one. I like this one a lot better. She's much cuter. Okay, promotions. What is it? Promotion 5?
5.
Yes, promotion 5.
Yep.
The talent unlocks, and then you definitely need to have her promoted. And you only need to have her level 50 too. You don't have to take her all the way up. I don't think her awakenings are that important, if I remember correctly. Don't affect reduces damage. Blah blah blah.
I think I still have mine at level 5.
Yeah, she doesn't even. Yeah, she doesn't need it unless you want to run her ultimate, which sometimes people do. I will typically use it on my main team just the first time around that she's on the field. Give some rage regen. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool that we see that we're both thinking number 3 for Laurel. I think that's a good spot for her. You'll use her forever. I can't think of what's gonna happen. Yeah, definitely. She is just
like peanut butter and jelly.
Yep. All right, so number 2. This one's gonna be maybe controversial, but it shouldn't be. Adril is number 2.
Oh, dude.
What's up, man?
Oh my god. Oh, bro, I completely forgot about Idil. Oh my god. Bro, okay.
How could you forget about Idil?
Oh man, how could I forget about Idil? It's because I'm stupid. No, dude, I don't know, bro. How on earth did I forget about Idil, bro? That is crazy. Oh, dude. Okay.
Maybe it's because she's just so darn good that she just does that job so well that you never have to think about her.
I was confusing her for a legendary. That's why.
Yeah, she belongs on their legendary top 10.
Oh my god, bro. She would definitely be in my top 5. Now I feel like my list is invalid. Okay, I completely forgot about Idil. I am so sorry, guys. Rookie mistake, Deez. Oh my god. Okay, she would definitely crack my top 5 though. I'd probably move Baron off my list and she would be in there. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. So, Adril is she's one of those heroes that's gonna open up the game for you. You're gonna look at Void Rift, you're gonna start creaming Void Rift. You're gonna look at the gear raids. Gear raid 3 specifically, she's gonna start smoking that. She's just gonna make things that are really important for your account progression just be easy. And the reason for that is this limitless shots here. And I think she also needs an awakening. We'll go over that in just a second. But limitless shots, she has full global range on her attack, so she just starts shooting everything across the map.
Goated.
And it's consistent and strong damage. I mean, she's a piercer. You get to have the Idril's gaze on her as well, which is going to have a chance to ignore defense. Being an epic, that's absolutely nuts. I'm not really sure what they were thinking putting this hero in this game as an epic. This is definitely legendary status. If they said that she was only going to be pulled from as a legendary, I wouldn't even be able to argue with it. Honestly, yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, the awakenings here, the awakening 5 is very important. During the effective limitless shots, every kill extends its duration by 3 seconds. Now there is a maximum, I believe, isn't there?
I'm not too sure on that.
I think there was.
But what do I know? I forgot to put her on my list.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there's a limit to how many times she can do it. I don't remember or recall what it actually is. It's quite a bit anyways, if it is there. But Yeah, obviously you agree with me that she should be up here in the top 5, but you forgot to put her on your list, which
I
is
100% agree. 100,
yeah.
100,000%.
100,000%. I'll go with that. But yeah, the other crazy combo that Idil has going on for her is paired with Araka. So Araka increases their damage by a certain percentage. Let's go with the piercers here. Her Lord ability here, for every 1 tile away from the target, increases their damage by 5% up to 50%. Now, Adril is one of the very, very few piercers that can take a full advantage of this 50% damage increase. And if you have Raka Idril combo, your gear rate 321 should be completed by the end of the day. That's kind of how it kind of rolls out, man. It's like you have your Idril, you have your Raka, you have maybe add your Laurel if you want. Good to go. But
well,
yeah, okay, I just think she's really strong. What do you got?
If you pull up okay, well, you don't have to pull it up, but Yovar, some of you guys might be thinking, oh, Yovar's Lord skill is better. It's overtime. Overtime, I think he caps out at 45% damage, which is better for almost every hero in the game. But for Idril, she gets that extra 5% bonus. It's 40%, right?
Yeah, it goes up to 45.
It goes up to 45. Yeah, 45. And that's what I'm at.
He's got to be deployed on the field too for 60 seconds to get that full 45. So,
correct.
Yeah, it's much easier to just pop an Idril down with a Raka sitting on the bench.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just get that 50% wherever the heck those enemies are. So,
and your boy DrDeez forgot her on the list. What was I thinking? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's just pretend. Let's just pretend I have Baron off my list. He made an honorable mention and just move everyone down 1 slot and I'd probably have Idril at like my number 3 spot, honestly. Let's just pretend that. You don't have to change it though. We'll just roll out with this. My bad, guys.
We'll
my bad.
Right. Somewhere at some point. Maybe right here.
Deez forgot.
How's that?
There we go. So at number 2, this chick is probably your number 1 hero. Actually, 100% she is your number 1 hero. And I am going to go with Dolores. I'm going to go with Dolores at number 2. All right. Dolores, she's been number 1 ever since this game started. I mean, she is about that life. The only S tier, not only because I really like the person at number 1, and I'm going to leave her there. I'm going to leave her there just because of what she does for my team. But we'll go over all that after. But Dolores, she just does amazing things, and everybody knows it's because of her inspiration. But you got to keep in mind, ever since we started this game, Dolores was the only one that could do inspiration. I mean, you get small inspiration out of like first year or whatever, but then they come out with Constance. Constance can do inspiration. Now, she's not being as special because then you also got Beelzebub coming out. And also, from me watching your Beelzebub video, Beelzebub doesn't, even after you get him to A2, the attack, Dolores still has higher attack, but Beelzebub comes with 50% inspiration. But my point is, Beelzebub's coming out. He's got a very high inspiration. It's just making Dolores not as special. I know we're only talking about epics in the game, but at the same time, Dolores was always special because she was the only one that could do a high inspiration. But then they came out with Constance. Now they're coming out with Beelzebub. I don't know. Maybe 6 months from now, if the game even lasts that long, maybe 6 months from now, they might come out with another inspiration hero. And then it's like, oh, where does Dolores fall in that? So again, for epics, you could make a case for her at 1. A lot of people probably do have her at 1, but I'm not everybody. I was like, you know what? Let me switch it up a little bit. So I got my Dolores at number 2.
I think she's safe to be there. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything really else to mention about her. She does have that 50% inspiration. She has the ability at high awakenings, but honestly, epic soul stones aren't that hard to come by. You will pick them up pretty quickly over time, and she's one of the units that if you do have her, you should probably start prioritizing getting her awakenings done. But yeah, awaken level 1, she gets an extra 20%. So that's going to put her at the 60% inspiration. Awaken level 2, she just gets some HP. It's really sad that's not extra base attack. Awaken 3 during the effective graceful dance increases healing multiplier by 10%. Don't bother with her healing. It doesn't work unless it's just like you're not going to be taking damage for a very long time. And she has plenty of time to give her some healing out. Now making level 4, you get that 5% attack boost. Now this seems like it'd be better. I would prefer to have a base or a flat attack boost than this 5%, if my math is correct. But her attack is actually pretty low, so that 5% not to equate to too much. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to do the math again, but Awaken level 5. When graceful dancing ends, increases the chance of increasing rage to 80%. Now, this is a chance, and it can be rather annoying, and it has been rather annoying. Us dealing with that 20% chance of this not proccing from I don't know what is it, like everything except for like the last 3 months, right? Since the exclusive came out. It's been still worth it. You're still using your Dolores. She didn't proc, right? Messed up my whole run. That's okay. Add it again, you know? Let's go. We're still going in there with Dolores, because if you want to have the highest score, that's what you did. Now, I can show my Dolores quick. I might just take a moment on this one here, because it's relatively important in my opinion. Now we come down here, we got the Rings of Grace set that has come out. Look, I got a flat attack piece on her. And we have a attack bonus down here, but right here, she has the exclusive amulet for Dolores, and it increases the chance of rage regen from Merciful Beauty. Increases the chance. merciful booty, huh? Yeah, that was pretty good, right? Anyways, it increases the chance of rage regen for Merciful Beauty by 20%. And that puts her at 100%, which means she's always going to have that kickback on her rage. And it works beautifully. So, as far as comparing her to Beelzebub, it's kind of ashes to ashes. If you have the summons in the wallet to just crank out on Beelzebub and get him to awaken level 3, he might start to overtake her in a lot of things. But she's still going to take the cake in a lot of other content as well. So they kind of become like... this 50-50 battle between the two, and it's just really hard to justify going for a legendary when you've got this epic that works wonderfully right here in front of you. And I use her even though I'm running a flat attack bango on her, and she's still sitting at 13.2k attack and just taking the cake. So yeah, she's relatively easy to work with. She is definitely my number 1. Oh man. Now, and you had yours as number 2. So, let's finish up with DrDeez's number 1.
Okay, so you obviously disagreed with me on this because you had her at number 10, but Alicia is new to the game. The reason why I put her at number 1 was because of the Lord Skill. The Lord Skill is just so overpowered. It's part of the best faction in the whole entire game, and you can actually get a good amount of damage out of Alicia. Like, she is a straight up booty clapping machine. You do have to pop her ultimate 3 times in order to get the full maximum amount of damage. But once you get that, I mean, if the battle can last for a while, we're talking a good amount of damage from an epic, along with one of the best Lord Skills. Scratch that, the best Lord Skill from epics anyway in the whole entire game. I mean, she is just an absolute beast. And even if you guys saw my I went live and I did a well, you guys probably didn't see it, but I went live and I did a video on Guild Boss 2, and I did my APOC 1 team. Alicia led the charge in damage. She had almost 100k. Granted, I only got to 30k bloodstones, and then I was like, all right, let's call it quits, because, you know, I was trying to bang everything out before the reset. But she just did amazing damage. She puts in that work. She is about that life. She is my number 1, and I'm going to stick to it.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I understand that take. I would also point out that she surprises me every single time I try her in something new. Last time it was the Arbiter of Frost. You know, if you haven't tried Alicia in the Arbiter of Frost and you're still using your Nisalt, I would say try to throw Alicia in there, because I was able to get her right around 120 to 140 million on average just running an Arbiter of Frost, and that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. No, she was beating Zilla2 a lot of the times, keeping up with A2 and I and lower, you know, kind of matching that kind of damage. And yes, like you said, in Guild Boss, she's great. I've actually played with her a little bit in AoE Arena, if you time things just right on manual, you're not going to auto this because it's going to depend a lot on the BP of your team you're going against. But you can trigger that ultimate and her little orb will bounce off and take care of those enemies at the end there. And all of a sudden, everybody's looking at it like, what the heck just happened? Yeah, well, that was Alicia. She's just goated. I want to see, I'm curious to see how like the players review her. So yeah, we got tied at 5.5, 4.9 in artifact material raid. I think she should be a 5 there. EXP raid, she should be a 5 there as well. Drake Shazam,
5. I gotta give her 5.
You got good damage out of her, Drake. I never tried her there, so
I never tried her, but okay, never mind. I shouldn't say 5 because I never tried her. You're right. I'm just assuming that she would be good for it, just because of the Lord skill.
The single target DPS, that's interesting to me. People say she's a 4.9. I never tried that either. Immortal Codex, I'm assuming that's going to be for the Conqueror. Let's see, Gold Raid. Yeah, it'd be for Conqueror. Gold Raid's going to be a 5 as well. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Guild War, yeah, I can see kind of falling off a little bit there. Tide, I mean, their epics, they're going to fall a lot.
So one thing that I do want to point out, you was talking about single target arena.
Yes.
For the guys that don't have Praetus, the Lord skill definitely comes in clutch for single target arena. I have Praetus and I use them in single target arena. I've never used Alicia, but I could see for the guys that don't have Praetus where she would get a high score for them because the Lord skill is goated. Like, especially if you know when to pop it at the right time, it will just absolutely delete whoever, whichever guys coming out. You have to do it on the last one, but the last enemy coming out of the thing. But once you pop that Lord skill, it's going to delete them. Again, I've never tried it with Alicia, but at the same time, I could probably see her getting a high score on that just because of that.
That's probably it too. I have tried it, and I would say that in the later, I want to say stages of arena, like Overlord and stuff, it kind of falls off. But up until then, it's really strong. What happens is like the BP just gets too high, and that Verdict of Truth doesn't quite take him out like you would think.
Gotcha.
But it does still do some damage, and I could see how that would, up to a certain point, probably maybe like a 350k BP team, if you're going up against that, she'd be solid at taking out that last enemy. But after that, it kind of falls away.
If it falls away, then 4.9 might be a little too high.
Yeah, it doesn't really hold up in that late stage. And maybe viewers here, if you guys know any different, then maybe I'm wrong. That's fine. Let us know down in the comments. We're definitely interested in hearing it. It seems like we have a lot of experimenting to do with Miss Alicia here.
Yes, sir.
Fashion trials, she's gonna be great. Gear Dungeon 2, yeah, she's gonna be good. She's maybe higher than a 4.7 in Gear Dungeon 2, maybe 4.8, 4.9. Gear Raid 1, she's gonna be great. All these look pretty close after this. I'm a big fan. I definitely agree. She's a good one to have as number 1. I think with my list, I could possibly move her up a little bit higher. I think maybe I could bump Eliza down. Wrath is just, for me, is just too goated. You might have a really good point about Damos falling off. I could definitely rethink that and maybe move him off the list completely even. Hey,
but what do I know? I forgot Idil.
You forgot Adril. That is okay. Guys, we have a little bit of a surprise though. We have, what is that? Worst? Go worst with a capital D. That's what we'll do because we love English here.
The capital D.
I like D for D's.
There we go. Right, there we go.
So we have the worst epic hero by both of our opinions. Now we're gonna say this both at the same time because we just want to see how well we agree on this. But I have to warn you that there's quite a few options that could be said at this time, and I'm really hoping that we don't say anybody's heroes that they really love, but I doubt it. Now, I'm gonna look at mine just to make sure I got the right one down. Yes, I do. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do 3, 2, 1 on 0. We're just gonna go ahead and say it. Okay.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Cyclone. He said Titus.
Hey, Cyclone's right up there, though. Cyclone is definitely right up there. That guy's basically useless. Maybe he might even be more useless than... Because Titus, you can actually use him in Immortal Codex. I'm just not going to waste my resources on him because he costs so much. Like, who wants to use a guy? What's he cost, like 31 or something? Like, he costs an arm and a leg. Yeah, to put him out. Who wants to do that? And a guy where Olog's going to do 10 times better, and Olog only costs, what, 18? Like, you know, I don't see any value in him. But now that you mentioned Cyclone, I mean, you could definitely make a case for Cyclone because at least Titus, you could use him from what my viewers were telling me. You could use him in Immortal Codex because I said this before. I was like, he's the worst legendary or epic in the game, and some viewers was like, I wouldn't say that because you know, I use him in Immortal Codex. He does an awesome job. I was like, okay, well, I guess you know, different strokes for different folks, but at the same time, I still feel like he's the worst. It's just because of his cost. His cost is just so much. Here, hang on. Let me move myself out of the way. Let me get it. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's better I go over this one.
Yeah, I can just move you out. You're like, there we go. Cost is a massive 31, and you are absolutely correct about that. I can say that I think that not just because of the Immortal Codex, but you're definitely not going to want to invest in this guy early on. If you're struggling defenders, and if you're struggling with defenders, you're early on, right? You're not gonna go and level this guy up because it doesn't take you very long to get yourself an Oleg and some other options. I'd rather you put Rex on the field for most cases, even. Yeah. But yes, he does do a really good job on Codex. He's definitely pretty good at that. You put him down in the center there, and he'll hold back the enemies, and he has that little bit of like what do you call it? It's a respawn almost, isn't it? Failed damage first time, the hero triggers self-repair. So he just kind of lets everybody by, I think. And then he starts coming back to life, and you're good to go for round 2. And is it really important that you have him in Codex? No, but he's definitely a good option for it. You know, obviously Cyrus and them guys are going to take the cake here, but he does work for it. So, my argument with Cyclone, I could throw you a pretty good list. I would say there's my worst 3 are going to be Selkath, Harpoon, and Cyclone, because the 2 fish are absolute garbage. there's just no fun coming out of those 2. I've tried it, and I want them to work because they're kind of neat looking. You know, I was like, I want these guys to do something, and they just don't. But I would say Titus is right there with those 4. He's the one of the worst 4. It's just the 31 cost, bro. It's the 30. I can never use 31 cost. I'm not going to waste my resources on a guy just for Immortal Codex. He costs 31 to lay down. When am I ever going to use this guy? Like I absolutely have zero use for this guy, bro. And he's a defender. Like, you know, it's like, oh man, I got way better defenders, and everyone gets Olog for free. Just use Olog. Wait until you get Olog. Don't waste your resources on this man right here, because 31 cost is going to cost you probably the match if you keep throwing him out there. Yeah, you're not gonna have anything else going on besides defending yourself. That's all. And the worst thing I think is like what he can't be healed, right? While unable to be healed by allies. Every 6 instances of damage taken temporarily triggers the thermal barrier. If you activate his ult and he kind of heals himself, I wouldn't mind this if it wasn't like a 900 cost ult. It doesn't make any sense as it is. You can't heal him. He can't heal himself. He can't keep himself going. But yeah, he's definitely pretty trash.
You could waste 31. But you could waste 31 cost to throw him out there.
Yeah, you could just start the match and just put your arms out and just chill back and just wait for a while, a good half a minute for your cost to gen up and you get yourself a Titus out. Now some people might, I know what's gonna happen here. I gotta call this out. What is it? Easteria. Am I in the right faction? Yes, Cyclone is right here.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna hear about Gear Dungeon 2. Okay. No. No, you're not using him for Gear Dungeon 2. You might be able to make him through a run once or twice, but I'm telling you, there's just no point. You're gonna push back those enemies, and then your autos aren't gonna ever work. And you're honestly just better going off with what's his face here. He's a rare, if I can remember where he is. Brute. Brute is gonna do that same thing. he can cheese Gear 8 or Gear Dungeon 2 for you if you don't have an Edith. And it kind of puts Cyclone off the map entirely, which he kind of already was. But there's still an RNG built into his kit as well, so it can kind of suck sometimes. But guys, I think that's all I have. I want you to know you need to go and subscribe to DrDeez's channel. This guy has been killing it lately. And as you can see from this video, he is a ton of fun. Anyways, you got anything else to say before we go, DrDeez?
No, just wanted to say thank you for that. And, you know, hey, you are a legend, my friend. I appreciate you bringing me onto your channel, and this was a whole lot of fun. We definitely got to do it again.
Yeah, thanks, man. Again, go check out his channel. Make sure you say hi to him down in the comments section, so he has to respond to all those. He's gonna respond to all those comments. You'll see. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to join the Discord. Me and DrDeez are in there, along with some other content creators as well. And we have hero guides, stage guides, tier guides, price guides, takeovers, everything in there, you name it. And it's a relatively well-growing community of almost 1,000 members. And I think we're pretty friendly in there. What do you think?
I mean, a little. Nah, I'm just kidding. Hey, you guys are the friendliest. It's an awesome Discord, man. And I'm just happy that I'm in it.
Yeah, that's my man. All right. But anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep digging.